Hello and welcome to another podcast in the Awaking Happiness series. And today I'm joined, as always, by Desi.
Hello.
And
Hi.
yeah, we get ideas for podcasts all the time, and some don't see the light of day. And maybe on a desperate day when there's nothing inspirational, we might drag some of those out. But today's topic is unconditional love. What is that? Now, this is a really big question, and the reason we've got it is because over the weekend, my son posted on Facebook a rant by someone who basically said that you should only, a bit of a preaching thing here, really, but you should. What is this nonsense about unconditional love? It's okay to not love everybody. In fact, that's a psyop, a psyop thing spread around by religion or something to try and convince you to go around like, you know, pleasing everybody and he really did go into a big one, and you got to question why he posted that at that point in time. Something obviously happened, right? But it got me thinking of unconditional love, and it's like there's obviously like as many different flavors of unconditional love or interpretations of unconditional love as there are people. It's like it's down to the individual to decide what does that actually mean. And yeah, I thought actually that's not a bad thing to be talking about because we do get told, oh, like you've got to love people unconditionally, and it's one of the things I say daily in my affirmations that unconditional love is the answer. Well, what do I mean by that? What
Yeah,
what,
that is.
what do I actually mean by that? And it's like, am I going around like sloppily, soppily, like, oh, come here, I've got to hug you? It's like, what, what does that actually mean when I affirm that daily? Because I'm not sure it means what he thinks it means, and that got me thinking. Well, what do you think it is? Not you, but what do you, whoever's listening? What do you consider unconditional love to mean?
Well, if
So,
we go by the opposite, because unconditional love, the opposite to that is conditional love.
mhm.
What would that mean? That would mean that you only love people under certain conditions.
If they do what you want, for
So
example.
if they do what they
Yeah,
want, I will love you. If you do this, I love you. If you don't do this, then I don't love you.
you're my enemy.
So it comes down to this unconditional love. In that case, then it's the opposite of, conditional. So the unconditional one would be a total acceptance, in my opinion, of course. Total acceptance of anybody going about their business, doing whatever they want,
Even though
and
you
I
might not agree
still,
with it.
even if I don't agree with what they're doing, I still accept what they do, and I don't judge them about it. And we had another episode on judgment, what judgment actually is. Um, you think you're judging others, but you're actually judging yourself, although you don't want to admit it. So unconditional love can actually, if we get triggered by somebody and we react towards them, that is not unconditional love, is it? That is the conditional love. Oh, I don't like this. If you do this other thing, then I'll love you. But again, is it loving, like, oh, hugging and kissing? No, it's
Well,
just the acceptance.
yeah, I mean, we were talking about this. Is in other languages, there's lots of words for love which depict different types of love. So there's love for your kids, love for your spouse, love for your mum and dad, love for friends, and like there's all sorts of love. And like English is pretty basic when it comes to the word love, which probably it's probably reflected in the attitude of the English, which is, kind of renowned as being a bit stiff upper lip, not really
Yeah.
showing your emotions, and a little bit constrained, if you like. Well, I mean, the language is constrained. You've only got one word, so it is constraining. But like what you said there, like not, not really. Accepting people, doing the accepting people regardless of what they do, because it's none of your business really. And I think that's the key. And like going back to like Buddhism and stuff, it's like living in harmony with those people around you, and not getting wrapped up in other people's doings, i.e., if they're doing something you don't like, it's none of your business, right? If it directly affects you, then it's something that's happened, and life's an adventure. Something's happened, it's cause and effect, someone's done something, but it's like, maybe they did it on purpose and it's caused an issue for you. However, we have lots of problems in our lives and lots of good things in our lives. These things happen. It's not down to us to decide whether they happen, is it? They just happen. Now, what are we going to do? Go around like being miserable about it, or are we going to get on and kind of do the best we can with what we've been dealt with? And that's really the issue, isn't it? It's not, like, it's not our business to look at what somebody else is doing and decide whether we're going to like them or not, or love them or not, is it? It's none of our business. Really, it makes life a lot easier if you just say, I love everybody, and I've got no problems with anybody, regardless of what they do. And then there's no pressure on it, is there? There's like, those people can do what they like. Really, the person they're affecting is themselves. If they're going around having a miserable life, it's like, well, you don't have to do that if you don't want to, but what do you want me to do?
So
I can.
it comes down to the result of this unconditional love, when one masters it, is absolute harmony.
Well, and it's peace.
Harmony and peace. So you live in harmony with everything, including nature.
Yeah.
And there's peace. And
Yeah.
obviously there will be things that will happen and they will disturb that peace, but then some of them will and some of them won't. And if they do, then this is where the lesson is. So why is this thing upsetting me? Why am I not loving this thing unconditionally? Why is that a problem for me? And then we find the root cause of it.
Yeah, and
If the ego lets us, because
it's
it
like what
won't sometimes.
when it's like what is happiness. At the end of the day, is that it's in peace and harmony with everything around you. Nothing will disturb you. Nothing will make life miserable, because if something happens, it's our decision. What we typically be told is, "Oh, that thing happened. It was really crap." Well, it wasn't really crap, was it? Because you learned a lesson and it enabled you to do this other thing, which turned out to be massively beneficial. It's like, oh yeah, it wasn't crap after all, but I wouldn't have decided to do that, because at the time there was a bit of pain attached to it, or quite a
Yeah.
lot of pain attached to it. So like, we just don't know what's going to happen, and what we do is we spend our life trying to work out what's going to go on next, and it never happens. We've talked about this before. So this unconditional love is basically all tied up, isn't it? But this is tied up into this, really, and it's not about, oh, I'm gonna love this person, I'm gonna love everybody, and you're making, you're loving them. This is a point. You're loving them because you're basically saying, doesn't matter what you do, you're not going to offend me, and I'm not going to judge you. You
And we
could
are
do.
full of, in our nowadays, everybody takes offense so easily, so you don't even know what to say because it might
Yeah,
offend somebody. And I've started to not give any, that word, about what I'm saying and how I'm saying it. I don't care. Maybe by me doing and acting the way I want to act and behave will wake somebody up. Maybe if they get triggered, that's good, because then that might be an opportunity for them to think about that. Why is my behavior triggering you? Interesting.
yeah. I mean, this
Um,
guy, this guy that posted. unconditional love, and like what he says is, it's like he's identified one type of love, which is the love for his kids and maybe his him or himself or whatever. It basically, that's what I call unconditional love, is where I would do anything for those myself and for my kids. Right. But that's not unconditional love. That's, you've got to be one of my kids or me.
That's a
Before,
very big condition. Yeah,
yeah,
good.
or I won't love you
But
because
the
I'm
thing
sick.
is, when we, sorry, Chris, to interrupt, but even when people say I have unconditional love for myself, no, they don't. Because the minute you start judging other people, oh, you are not loving me unconditionally, you are do, this is not unconditional. The minute you start putting a judgment, you've immediately judged yourself. That is not unconditional love towards yourself. So he was not showing unconditional love to himself because he was telling all these about other people, believing in God and whatnot, and religion, and he was interfering that, including that in the whole scheme of things.
Yeah, yeah. But like it's,
He was
I,
so far away from unconditional love towards himself and his kids that it was just unbelievably blind person talking about this.
yeah. Well, like maybe something terrible did happen, and that prompted that. And like
Yeah,
we all say things in, like in a state when we're
we're
on a
angry.
stress level's gone up or something, and we say things we regret at a later time.
Maybe you
Like,
delete it.
yeah. But it was an interesting post because his definition of unconditional love is a very, very restricted unconditional love. And of course, if that kind of love that he gives is only available to those very uh, then that kind of love, I think you have to, that's not unconditional love, that's a type of love. Then he's only going to give it to those people. But it may be that he's a very accepting individual. I mean, it didn't sound like it at that moment, but it could be that like in general. And isn't that unconditional love? Then it's like if I'm giving you the ability, to, like the unrestricted uh, power to do as you choose in your life, and find out the hard way if it doesn't go well, or the good way if it does go well. That's like a total love in my, like, it's hard, isn't it, when your kids
Yeah.
do something and it's going to end badly. Right? You know the choice they've made is not a good choice. Unconditional love is to let them fail at that anyway, or learn the lessons without having giving them a hard time.
Yeah,
That's,
some people will actually disagree with you on that. They'll say, "What kind of a parent are you not to
yeah.
help your kids?" But
Well,
I also am learning to let go of this thinking because this is actually coming back from my perspective. When I was young, I hated it when my parents were interfering in my decisions. So why am I doing that to my kids?
that's a controlling love.
Exactly.
It's like, I love you because I don't want you to get hurt. Yeah, but what you're doing is wrapping me up in cotton wool, and I'm having a non-life experience.
And I'm dependent on your decisions and
Yeah,
your being aware and you being around to always give me the next advice.
yeah. Well, you're creating a rod for your own back, and you're creating like it's alive but not really living kind of existence for them, who never really grow up. I mean, like, as a parent, and as a child, as a parent, you want your kids to basically be self-sufficient when you're no longer there.
Mm,
If
yeah,
you keep on having to be there, then you can't let go, can you? It's a massive shock if you do die and they're not ready, because now they're going to have to find, they could get completely taken in by somebody and not have the right skills to be able to assess whether this person's actually trying to help me or trying to take off with my my possessions or whatever. Like, you have to have that happen to you to recognize it.
yeah,
And that is unconditional love. It's allowing someone to learn and live their life and become an adult who is taking responsibility for their life. And like, unconditional love for me is basically, well, that's
yeah.
part of it.
So somehow it ended up meaning that unconditional love is a control mechanism.
Not
Misunderstood idea of unconditional love is, okay, I'm gonna now help you out, and I'm gonna be there for you. I'm gonna be really pouring my love onto you, and I'm gonna tell you what to do. And look, it's like hiding behind the unconditional love label, but you're actually exerting control over people. And these are your dearest and nearest, that your family.
Yeah, I mean, if my parents had basically said you can't do this, you can't do that, blah blah blah, I would have hated it. In fact, they whether they feigned it with by saying, yeah, we're busy and we're doing things, and like your life's your life, and you just get, whether that was what they intended or not, I don't know, but that's what happened effectively. I went out in the morning and I came back in the evening. Like it was like they didn't see me all day. I had no idea what I was up to. Out on my bike with my mates, just roaming, not roaming, but we were just doing what we wanted to do. Sometimes playing football, sometimes riding the bike, going to see this person, going to see that person. Like there was no control over that. Like no mobile phone. So like if you didn't turn up, it was like there was some worry going on, but they were busy doing their thing. I think they're quite happy for me to disappear, but but I wouldn't have had that any other way. Because any other thing than that would have been control.
Yeah.
And you know me, I'm not here to be controlled. Like if I start sniffing control. It's like if someone starts selling to you, most people say, well, hang on, I'm going to back off. If someone starts trying to control me, I back off. Yeah, control me if you can, but
I'm running away.
Yeah, first you got to catch me. But yeah, so yeah, it's an interesting subject, but I think people have to really look at that word, and I think sometimes, like we did the 7 principles of link for growth, and like everyone is equal is one of those things, but you need to look at the opposite. Everyone is no, people aren't equal. Some are better than others. Well, what are you doing there? It's like you can't go there. You have to look at the negative, and conditional love is very easy because that basically, I will love you if you do this and this and this. I.e., if you please me, then I will love you. If you displease me, then I don't.
Yeah.
And you can't do that with your kids because they are going to displease you. They're going to do things, so you still love them even if they do things you don't agree with.
You still love them, but then that's not the thing. It's the control. That's with parents and unconditional love. It's got a bit confused.
I mean, there's a confliction there, isn't there? Because unconditional love means I love you, I will love you regardless, but don't do things I don't like.
Yeah.
So there is a problem with this. I think, and that's a really good point to kind of close on, really, because we don't want to labour this terribly, but that point is do a little bit of introspection and see what you believe unconditional love is, because I think you might be surprised.
Yeah. So think about the opposite and see how that works.
We'll see if you're doing that. Because that's and you might be surprised.
And every time you judge someone, because that's when the unconditional love becomes conditional, when you judge someone, whereabouts in your life are you judging yourself? Because the more you have a judgment on the world outside, the more judgment you put onto yourself. And why is that?
So if you've enjoyed this video, then below click the subscribe button and tick the like if you have liked it. If it's caused a problem, you don't condition
Still like
me.
it, please.
don't just say, oh no, they're talking rubbish, we're not going to like this one.
That is not an unconditional love, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Show us unconditional love by liking our content.
And then when you click subscribe, you have to click that alarm, otherwise the YouTube won't notify you when we post a new video. So do all of that. Thanks for watching till the end, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.